The atom. It's the building block of everything we see and touch. In the 20th century, we unlocked its secrets, unleashing both unimaginable destruction and boundless energy. The atom can destroy cities or power them. Today we explore this duality, weapon or wonder, threat or hope. The choice is ours. Nowhere is this nuclear dilemma more visible or more fraught with tension than in the Middle East. At the heart of this complex region are two nations, Iran and Israel. Both are powerful, both are ambitious, and both are deeply involved in the world of nuclear technology. For decades, their relationship has been defined by suspicion, hostility, and the constant threat of conflict. And at the center of this long-standing rivalry lies the atom. Their stories represent the two sides of the nuclear coin, and the gray areas in between that make this topic so incredibly complicated for the rest of the world to navigate. Iran is a nation that has been openly pursuing a nuclear program for years. The government in Tehran insists its intentions are entirely peaceful. They claim they are only seeking to develop nuclear power to meet their country's growing energy needs, to power their cities and fuel their economy for the future. Yet many in the international community remain deeply skeptical. They fear that behind the official story of power plants and energy grids, Iran is secretly working towards developing a nuclear bomb. This suspicion has led to sanctions, tense negotiations, and a constant drumbeat of potential military action. On the other side, we have Israel. Unlike Iran, Israel's nuclear program is shrouded in secrecy. It has never officially confirmed or denied that it possesses nuclear weapons, a policy known as nuclear ambiguity or opacity. Despite this official silence, it's widely believed by experts and foreign governments that Israel has a sophisticated nuclear arsenal, making it the only nuclear-armed state in the Middle East. This undeclared status creates its own set of problems and anxieties, particularly for its neighbors. The existence of these weapons, even if unconfirmed, changes the entire strategic balance of the region. The situation between Iran and Israel presents a perfect, if dangerous, case study. One nation openly pursues a nuclear program it claims is for peace, while the world fears it's for war. The other nation is believed to already have the ultimate weapon but refuses to admit it, creating a different kind of uncertainty. Both nations insist they have a right to the technology, but their deep-seated mistrust of one another means that every development, every announcement, and every rumor is seen through a lens of fear and worst-case scenarios, keeping the region and the world on edge. So why should this matter to you, wherever you are in the world? It matters because the line between a nuclear power program and a nuclear weapons program can be incredibly fine. The very same technology used to enrich uranium for a power reactor can, with further steps, be used to enrich it to weapons-grade material for a bomb. This is the core of the problem, the technical reality that fuels international suspicion and makes verification so difficult. When a country starts down the nuclear path, it's often hard for outsiders to know its true final destination. This ambiguity is what keeps diplomats up at night. This confusion is often deliberately exploited. Governments on all sides of the debate use the complexity of nuclear science to their advantage. They can use it to hide their true intentions, to rally public support, or to cast doubt on their adversaries. They might talk about peaceful energy while secretly stockpiling materials. They might raise alarms about an enemy's program to justify their own actions. Both Iran and Israel, in their own ways, leverage this confusion. They count on the fact that most people don't understand the difference between a reactor and a warhead, making it easier to control the narrative. Understanding the distinction is our best defense against misinformation. It allows us to ask the right questions and to see through the political spin. When a leader talks about their nation's inalienable right to peaceful nuclear energy, we can ask for transparency and verification to ensure that is all it is. When another leader warns of an imminent threat, we can look at the evidence and assess the real level of danger, rather than simply accepting their claims. Knowledge empowers us to hold our leaders accountable and to demand peaceful, verifiable solutions over rhetoric and warmongering. Ultimately, The stakes are too high for us to remain in the dark. A misunderstanding, a miscalculation, or a deliberate lie in the nuclear arena could lead to a catastrophic war, with consequences that would ripple across the entire globe. In this video, we'll arm you with the knowledge you need. We'll break down the science, explore the history, and examine the politics. By separating the fact from the fear and the power plant from the bomb, we can begin to understand what Iran and Israel and other world powers don't want you to understand, and why it is essential that you do. In the quiet labs of early 20th century Europe, scientists like Einstein and Curie unlocked the atom's secrets, never imagining the weapon it would become. But as war loomed, science turned to survival. The Manhattan Project raced to build the bomb. In 1945, a flash brighter than 1,000 suns marked the dawn of the atomic age. The Trinity test proved the atomic bomb worked. In August 1945, the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, instantly killing tens of thousands. Japan surrendered, ending World War II. But the world had changed forever. Nuclear weapons had introduced a new era of fear and power that would shadow humanity for generations. The end of World War II did not bring peace. Instead, it began the Cold War, a standoff between the US and Soviet Union, both armed with nuclear weapons. The threat of mutually assured destruction loomed, shaping daily life with fear, drills, and fallout shelters. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the brink, a stark reminder of how close catastrophe could come. The nuclear club began with the US and Soviet Union, but soon expanded to include the UK, France, and China. To prevent further spread, the 1968 Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, was created. Nuclear states agreed not to share weapons, non-nuclear states agreed not to build them, and peaceful nuclear technology was shared under strict oversight. The NPT has been widely adopted, but not universally. India, Pakistan, North Korea, and Israel remain outside or defiant. India and Pakistan tested bombs in 1998. North Korea withdrew and built its own arsenal. Israel maintains secrecy, but is widely believed to possess nuclear weapons. These exceptions create loopholes and tensions, especially in the Middle East. Within this imperfect system, the story of Iran's nuclear ambitions unfolds. Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful, citing its rights under the NPT and its need for energy independence. But years of secret facilities and uranium enrichment have fueled global suspicion. The 2015 Iran nuclear deal imposed strict limits and inspections in exchange for sanctions relief, but the US withdrew in 2018, reigniting tensions. Since then, Iran has ramped up enrichment, edging closer to weapons capability. The world now faces a renewed crisis. Iran is closer than ever to nuclear breakout, and the question of its true intentions remains unresolved. The stakes for the region and the world are higher than ever. Israel's nuclear policy is the opposite of Iran's: total secrecy. Officially, Israel neither confirms nor denies having nuclear weapons, but it's an open secret that it possesses a significant arsenal. This ambiguity, rooted in existential fears, is meant to deter enemies without provoking international backlash. The policy frustrates Israel's neighbors, especially Iran, who see it as a double standard. Israel's undeclared arsenal is both a security guarantee and a source of regional instability. This paradox lies at the heart of the Middle East's nuclear dilemma. The Iran-Israel nuclear standoff is a volatile mix of threats, sabotage, and mutual suspicion. Israel vows to prevent an Iranian bomb, using cyber attacks and targeted assassinations. Iran sees nuclear capability as its ultimate security. Each side's actions reinforce the other's fears, creating a dangerous cycle. A miscalculation could trigger a devastating regional war, drawing in the US, unleashing missile barrages, and destabilizing global oil markets. Saudi Arabia, alarmed by Iran's progress, threatens to join the nuclear race. The risk isn't just bilateral. One spark could ignite a multi-sided arms race across the Middle East. The fragile non-proliferation regime hangs in the balance. The Iran-Israel nuclear rivalry is a global issue, shaped by the interests of the US, Russia, China, and Europe. The US backs Israel and pressures Iran with sanctions and military threats. Russia and China support diplomacy and see Iran as a strategic partner. Europe tries to keep the nuclear deal alive, caught between US hardliners and Russian-Chinese pragmatism. Any escalation could disrupt the world economy and test international alliances. Decisions in Washington, Moscow, Beijing, and Brussels are as crucial as those in Tehran and Jerusalem. The stakes are global, and the margin for error is razor thin. The Iran-Israel focus masks a broader trend. Nuclear dangers are multiplying worldwide. North Korea's defiance and nuclear arsenal challenge the NPT and inspire others. India and Pakistan's rivalry shows how regional disputes can escalate to nuclear threats. The risk of nuclear terrorism and unstable states adds new layers of danger. The NPT's credibility is eroding. Old powers stall on disarmament. New powers resent double standards. Iran and Israel's cases highlight the system's hypocrisy and fragility. The world faces a proliferation puzzle with no easy answers, and the stakes have never been higher. Nuclear weapons are kept on hair-trigger alert, ready to launch within minutes. This posture, born in the Cold War, still exists today. Hundreds of US and Russian missiles can be fired at a moment's notice. The risk? A false alarm or miscalculation could trigger disaster. In tense regions like the Middle East, rapid response doctrines mean a single mistake could escalate into war. History is filled with terrifying moments when the world unknowingly stumbled to the brink of nuclear war, saved not by design, but by luck and the judgment of a few. In 1983, Stanislav Petrov's intuition stopped a false alarm from triggering disaster. These incidents remind us, a glitch or misunderstanding could unleash catastrophe. In war, confusion and miscommunication can be deadly. The lack of direct communication between Iran and Israel means every move is open to misinterpretation. Without a hotline, misunderstandings can escalate rapidly, turning small incidents into major crises. This absence of dialogue is one of the greatest dangers in their ongoing standoff. Section 4. The human factor. When judgment fails. The decision to use a nuclear weapon rests with a human being, not a machine. We trust leaders to be calm and wise under unimaginable pressure. But stress, fatigue, and misjudgment are always present. In a crisis, the risk of catastrophic error is terrifyingly high. History shows human error is inevitable, even with nuclear weapons. Nuclear power harnesses the same force as a bomb, splitting uranium atoms, but in a controlled way. In a reactor, control rods manage the chain reaction, releasing heat slowly and safely. This heat boils water, making steam to spin turbines and generate electricity. Nuclear plants power our world cleanly, efficiently, and without carbon emissions. Nuclear energy packs immense power into a tiny fuel pellet, enough to match tons of coal or oil. Nuclear plants need little land, run day and night, and provide reliable, carbon-free electricity. For countries like Iran, nuclear power offers a path to energy independence and a cleaner, more sustainable future. Nuclear science is more than just power plants. It saves lives through medical imaging and cancer treatment, sterilizes equipment, preserves food, and helps develop better crops. Even smoke detectors use nuclear technology. These hidden gifts drive innovation, heal the sick, feed the hungry, and shape our world in ways we rarely see. Today's nuclear reactors are based on proven designs from the 1960s and 70s. But a new generation of engineers is creating advanced reactors, safer, more efficient, and more versatile. Small modular reactors and fusion projects like ITER promise cleaner, flexible energy, and a hopeful future for atomic power. Nuclear power promises clean energy, but disasters like Chernobyl and Fukushima have left a legacy of fear and mistrust. While rare, these accidents remind us of the risks, radiation, human error, and the potential for widespread contamination. The industry argues nuclear is among the safest energy sources, but the consequences of failure are global. Embracing nuclear means upholding the highest safety standards for everyone. Nuclear power creates highly radioactive waste that remains dangerous for thousands of years. A unique ethical and technical challenge. All the waste from decades of US nuclear energy could fit on a football field, but storing it safely for the long term remains unsolved. Scientists agree deep underground storage is safest, yet no country has built a permanent repository. The waste dilemma remains at the heart of the nuclear debate, a puzzle of science, politics, and ethics. Nuclear power is expensive to build, with huge upfront costs and long construction times. But once running, it delivers stable, affordable electricity for decades. Renewables are now cheaper and faster to deploy, putting pressure on nuclear. New tech, like small modular reactors, could make nuclear more affordable and competitive in the future. As our global population grows, we face a critical crossroads. Our old reliance on fossil fuels is unsustainable. Renewables like solar and wind are promising, but face challenges. Nuclear offers reliable power, but comes with its own risks. There's no perfect solution, only choices about which problems we're willing to solve. The atom's secrets unleashed two destinies, the shadow of the bomb and the promise of clean power. The same science that powers cities can also destroy them. The line between war and peace is thin. Nuclear technology is a mirror, reflecting our hopes and fears. Its story is ultimately ours to write. Trust is the hardest part of the nuclear puzzle. Treaties, technology, and safety all depend on it. But decades of suspicion between nations like Iran and Israel show how fragile trust can be. In the end, uniting humanity is harder than splitting the atom. As we stand at this energy crossroads, faced with the monumental challenge of powering our world without destroying it, it has become clear that there is no perfect solution. There is no magical energy source that is perfectly clean, perfectly safe, perfectly reliable, and perfectly cheap all at the same time. The idea that we can find a flawless answer to our energy needs is a dangerous illusion. It prevents us from making the difficult but necessary decisions that are required to move forward. The real task ahead of us is not to search for perfection, but to honestly and pragmatically choose which set of problems we are willing to take on. Fossil fuels, the engine of our modern world, have given us a problem of planetary-scale climate change. The cost of continuing down this path is measured in rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and polluted air that harms human health. Renewables like solar and wind offer a powerful solution to the climate problem, but they present us with a new set of challenges. We must solve the problem of their intermittency, which requires vast investments in energy storage. We must also manage the problem of their large land and material footprint, which has its own environmental consequences. Nuclear energy, in turn, asks us to accept a different bargain. It offers a solution to both the climate problem and the reliability problem, providing immense amounts of carbon-free power around the clock. But in exchange, it presents us with a unique set of responsibilities. We must accept the problem of managing its waste for geological timescales, a profound ethical duty to future generations. We must accept the problem of ensuring its operational safety with no room for error. And we must confront the problem of its link to nuclear weapons, managing the risk of proliferation with constant vigilance. This framework of choosing our problems changes the debate. It moves us away from a simplistic good versus evil narrative and towards a more mature conversation about risk and reward. The question is no longer, is nuclear energy good? The question becomes, are the problems of nuclear energy, waste, safety, and proliferation more solvable than the problems of climate change or the problems of an all-renewable grid? The answer may be different for different countries depending on their geography, economy, and political stability. But it is a choice that must be made, consciously and with our eyes wide open. From the heart of the atom to the heart of global conflict, we face a choice. Will the atom's legacy be defined by the shadow of the bomb or by the promise of clean energy and healing? The future of the atom and our world is in our hands.